Gearing-class destroyers represent one of the most notable warship classes in the history of the United States Navy. Developed during World War II and serving through several decades in the Cold War, these ships were the backbone of the U.S. Navy's destroyer force, embodying a blend of firepower, speed, and versatility that defined American naval strategy for nearly half a century. The history and development of the Gearing-class destroyers is a story of technological innovation, wartime urgency, and a gradual evolution in response to the shifting dynamics of naval warfare. Origins and development. The Gearing class was an extension of the preceding Allen M. Sumner-class destroyers, which were, in turn, an improvement over the Fletcher-class destroyers. The Gearing class was designed in response to lessons learned during the early years of World War II, where the Navy sought a destroyer with enhanced range, increased stability, and improved anti-aircraft capabilities. With the war raging on multiple fronts, and the U.S. Navy playing a critical role in the Pacific and Atlantic theaters, a more capable and robust destroyer was necessary. The primary difference between the Gearing class and its predecessors was its length. While the Sumner-class destroyers were 376 feet long, the Gearing class extended the hull to 390 feet. This additional length allowed for a larger fuel capacity, significantly increasing the ship's range, a key requirement for the vast distances of the Pacific theater. The extra space also improved stability, which was particularly important for the heavy anti-aircraft batteries installed to counter Japanese kamikaze attacks. Technical specifications. Gearing-class destroyers were equipped with a variety of weapon systems that evolved over time to meet the demands of naval warfare. Initially, the ships were armed with 6 5-inch 38 caliber dual-purpose guns in 3 twin turrets, allowing them to engage both surface and air targets effectively. They also carried a robust anti-aircraft suite, typically featuring 12 40mm Bofors guns in 6 twin mounts and up to 11 20mm Oerlikon cannons. For anti-submarine warfare, ASW, the ships were equipped with depth charge racks, K-gun depth charge throwers, and later in their careers were fitted with hedgehogs and more advanced sonar systems. Their torpedo armament included 10 21-inch torpedo tubes arranged in 2 quintuple mounts, making them formidable opponents against surface ships as well. The ships were powered by 4 boilers, feeding steam turbines, producing 60,000 shaft horsepower, which propelled the destroyers at speeds of up to 35 knots. Their range was approximately 4,500 nautical miles at a cruising speed of 20 knots, which was a significant improvement over earlier destroyer classes and provided the necessary endurance for long Pacific patrols. Production and wartime service. The first Gearing-class destroyer, USS Gearing, DD-710, was laid down in August 1944 and commissioned in May 1945, just as the war was coming to an end. A total of 98 Gearing-class destroyers were ordered, but only 67 were completed by the end of the war, with several others cancelled as the demand for new ships waned following the Japanese surrender. Although the class saw limited action during World War II, the ships quickly found a role in post-war naval strategy. With the dawn of the Cold War, Gearing-class destroyers were refitted and modernized under the Fleet Rehabilitation and Modernization (FRAM) programs, which extended their service life and adapted them to new combat roles. Cold War evolution. The FRAM programs. During the Cold War, the role of the destroyer changed dramatically due to the development of new threats such as high-speed jet aircraft and nuclear-powered submarines. To keep the Gearing class relevant, the Navy launched a series of modernization programs collectively known as FRAM, fleet rehabilitation, and modernization. The FRAMI program, initiated in the late 1950s, was the most comprehensive overhaul. It included a complete refurbishment of the ship's superstructure and internal systems, installation of new sonar and radar suites, and significant enhancements to anti-submarine warfare capabilities. Most notable was the addition of the RUR-5 ASROC anti-submarine rocket launcher and the DASH drone anti-submarine helicopter system. These innovations transformed the Gearing class into potent ASW platforms, extending their utility as submarine hunters in the face of the growing Soviet submarine threat. The FRAM-2 program, which was less extensive, focused mainly on updating the armament and electronics of select destroyers. It involved fewer structural modifications, but added features such as the new Mark 32 triple torpedo launchers and improved surface-to-air missile systems. Service record and global impact. The Gearing-class destroyers served extensively during the Korean War, providing naval gunfire support, anti-submarine patrols, and escort duties. During the Vietnam War, these ships played a critical role in shore bombardment, screening carrier battle groups and patrolling the waters off Southeast Asia. Their versatility and robust design led to several Gearing-class destroyers being transferred to Allied navies around the world. Nations such as Turkey, Greece, Taiwan, and South Korea acquired these ships as part of the United States Military Assistance Program. This extended the service life of the Gearing class well into the 1990s and early 2000s, making them some of the longest-serving destroyers in naval history. Legacy and conclusion. The Gearing-class destroyers represent the pinnacle of World War II-era destroyer design and were among the most adaptable and long-lived classes of destroyers ever built. Their robust construction, flexibility in armament, and ability to be modernized made them invaluable assets in both wartime and peacetime operations. Even as newer classes of destroyers, like the Charles F. Adams and Spruance classes, began to replace them, many Gearing-class ships continued to serve with distinction, proving the enduring value of their design. Today, several Gearing-class destroyers are preserved as museum ships, serving as a testament to their historical significance and the role they played in shaping mid-20th century naval warfare. Their story is one of continuous adaptation and resilience, embodying the evolution of naval strategy from the hot battles of World War II to the complex and shadowy engagements of the Cold War.